Ladies and gentlemen, in the unfortunate world of Donald Trump, the wannabe oligarchy, fascist, and dictator, and I say because it's happening under his presidency. 6 people have been just declared deceased and dead in a helicopter crash near Manhattan, New York. I guess that's what happens when you, like I've said before, continuously, unlawfully, illegally, and unconstitutionally gut FAA agencies, including the TSA. What's next? Is Donald Trump gonna blame transgender people and transgender folk for this crash too? Is he not gonna blame the fact that he gutted and pretty much dismantled the FAA and TSA at the start of his illegal presidency? Let's get into this new reporting by CBS News. The article is titled "Helicopter Crash in Hudson River Kills All 6 Aboard." And ladies and gentlemen, the article reads, 6 people died when a helicopter crashed into the Hudson River Thursday afternoon. The incident happened at around 3:17 p.m. near the Hudson Tunnel ventilation shaft in Jersey City, not far from River Drive, South Newport Parkway near the water's soul sculpture. The New York City mayor, Eric Adams, said 3 adults and 3 children were killed, including a family of 5 from Spain and the pilot. The bodies have been removed, he said. My condolences to everyone's families who are affected by this. Your loved ones, all 6 of them, are in my prayers. My hearts and my prayers. Our hearts go out to the family of those who were on board and all 6 who were on board of the helicopter, Adams said. CBS News New York has learned that learned the 5 of the 6 victims. Siemens executive Augustin Escobar, his wife, and their 3 children, ages 4, 5, and 11. NYPD units from aviation, harbor, scuba, and patrol all responded with our first units. Arriving at the site within minutes, our NYPD officers entered the water along with rescue personnel from FDNY, Port Authority, and various New Jersey agencies. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch said, adding, drivers pulled 4 people from the crash site, and the New York Fire Department divers recovered an additional 2. Immediate life-saving measures were undertaken on the vessels on the scene as well as the adjoining pier. 4 victims were pronounced dead on the scene, and 2 more were removed to local hospitals where sadly both succumbed to their injuries. Emergency responders were gathering on both sides of the river. On the Manhattan side, the NYPD was mobilizing on the West Side Highway and Spring Street. In a post on Truth Social, President Trump wrote, "Terrible helicopter crash in Hudson River. Looks like 6 people, the pilot, 2 adults, and 3 children." Yeah, 3 children are no longer with us. The footage of the accident is horrendous. God bless the families and friends of the victims. Secretary of State Sean Duffy and his talented staff are on it. Announcements as to exactly what took place and how will be made shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get into the deadly flight details. More than likely, Trump and his administration are going to tell lies at a press conference like they did with the January 29 mid-air collision. The helicopter involved was a Bell 206. According to the FAA, it was with the tour company New York Helicopters. Church TISCH said it took off from Lower Manhattan at around 3 p.m., Adams said. A source familiar with the investigation confirmed the helicopter was owned by a company called Meridian Helicopters out of Louisiana. That company describes itself as a helicopter brokerage. They sell, lease, and refurbish helicopters. After takeoff, the helicopter apparently flew over Governor's Island and then near the Statue of Liberty before heading up the Hudson River along Manhattan's west side before turning around just past the George Washington Bridge and flying back down along the New Jersey side of the river before coming down near Jersey City. Here you have visitors who were here just to see picture crew and a legendary skyline. And unfortunately, we lost 5 family members and a pilot to an incident, Adams said. He added, again, our heart goes out to the family members. We are deeply saddened by the tragedy on the Hudson River earlier today involving New York Helicopter, a company who operates out of our facility. Our hearts go out to the families and friends of all those impacted by this horrible incident. We are cooperating with all of the appropriate agencies and thank all of the first responders for their efforts. A spokesman for Skyports said one of the firms that manage the heliport. Flight path records show for at least the last week, the helicopter has traveled to and from airports and heliports in our area with multiple flights per day. It often flies from one Manhattan heliport to another, or from JFK to Newark, or from those airports to heliports. New York Helicopters CEO Michael Roth told CBS News New York investigators have not told him anything about the cause of the crash. I don't know anything how this went down. The only thing I can tell you, we are devastated. My wife hasn't stopped crying since this afternoon, he said, and added, we're a small company. I'm a father and a grandfather, and we're just devastated. We have no clue what happened. When asked, Roth declined to discuss how often the helicopter was inspected or how recently, saying and added, my editorial edition, we follow all the rules and more. The FAA and NTSB are investigating the crash. The Coast Guard has established a safety zone in the Hudson River, stopping vessels traffic a mile north of, and south of the river, which is impacted ferry service. The water was about 50 degrees at the time of the crash. The skies were overcast with visibility of about 10 miles and wind gusts of up to 21 miles per hour. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to hear the statements of how the witnesses described the crash. Witnesses described the helicopter crash, parts coming apart in midair before plummeting down into the water. Debris could be seen flying from the helicopter as it plunged into the river. Church said, that's Tisch, officials believe the helicopter hit the water inverted. The helicopter was a little bit like nose down. Slightly, and I saw the propeller separating from the helicopter. It kept spinning in the air alone. Nothing was attached to it. Witness Sarah Jane Raymond Ryer said. It sounded like an engine came out. I looked outside my window. I saw a few people running towards the water, and some people were acting pretty normal. So I was like, oh, it might not be anything. Then I started to hear all the sirens come outside. Jen Link, who's a Jersey City resident, said, I heard like such a loud sound. It felt like thunder, and because it was raining today, it was just like, okay, maybe. And then I saw like black particles flying. Again, I thought maybe it's like dust or birds. And then we heard all the emergency vehicles and sirens go by, and I think that's when it was clear. Or it was like, okay, what's happening? Jersey City resident Ipsita Benig, I believe that's Bengridi said. Video appeared to show flotation devices on the helicopter's landing gear in the water. The fuselage of the helicopter was not visible. The helicopter's tail was also not visible. Obviously, a catastrophic failure of the aircraft. That's very obvious. Booms and noises like that indicate some sort of mechanical issue. Dan Rice said, who is a CBS News New York's New York reporter. Rice, who reports from Chopper 2, frequently flies in the same model helicopter. There is one video in particular where you see the main component of the helicopter, the fuselage upside down, and what scared me, is the main rudder system was gone. There is no main rotor on the helicopter, and the tail boom was gone, was also gone. And it's just a vessel at that point with no direction. Rice said the tail rotor is what keeps the helicopter from spinning out of control. I can't imagine what happened there um there that could have led to that. We'll wait for the investigation to give us those details. But from what I've seen, separation of the blades is what caused the chopper to go down. What led to the separation is what we have to find out, said Rice. The main body of the aircraft was recovered from the river Thursday evening, but authorities say dive operations will resume Friday for other major parts. Prior crashes on New York City's rivers. In 2019, a helicopter crashed into the Hudson River shortly after refueling. The pilot was the only person on board at the time and suffered minor injuries. In March 2018, 5 people were killed when their charter helicopter went down in the East River. The pilot survived. It was an open-door flight, and that crash led to legislation and an eventual ban on open-door helicopter flights in the city. In 2016, a vintage plane went down during a celebration for the American Air Power Museum. The pilot was killed. The most well-known crash was the Miracle on the Hudson in January 2009, when a plane struck birds shortly after taking off from LaGuardia Airport. Captain Chelsea Sullenberger managed to land the plane on the river, saving the lives of 155 passengers and crew members. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is just another plane crash, or catastrophic event that Donald Trump, Caroline Leavitt, and the rest of Trump's administration are probably going to tell more lies about. and one that they're probably going to blame on DEI and transgender folk, like they've done in the past and just recently. Or they're probably gonna play the racial discrimination card against people of color and people who are white. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's unfortunate legal breaking reporting. If you enjoy this legal breaking reporting, please consider giving it a like, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. If you want to make sure that you never miss a brand new legal breaking reporting and an analysis breaking video, please consider hitting the bell icon that is right next to the subscribe button below the screen here on the right hand side. You can also do so if you want to make sure you never miss a brand new legal breaking video and the legal analysis breaking video. You can also follow me on my social medias that I will have linked down below in the video description. I'm on Instagram, Snapchat, Threads, as well as TikTok. There on my social medias, you can be instantly updated on when I've posted a brand new legal breaking analysis reporting video to the channel. Thirdly, ladies and gentlemen, please help me reach and achieve the overall channel goal of 150 plus subscribers. The reason why I'm saying 150 plus subscribers is because right after we reach and achieve the goal of 150 subscribers, we have more subscribers to reach and achieve right after we reach and achieve the goal of 150 subscribers. Until my next legal breaking reporting, ladies and gentlemen, lastly, please stay safe, please stay positive, and always look for the points of light in today's crazy, unfortunate, corrupt world. And know that justice will prevail on the correct side of the law, despite Donald Trump and his illegal executive orders and illegal administration and illegal behaviors. On the correct side of the law.